Hey everyone, Darren here, aka Irish Latino Reacts, Irish on the bottom, Latin American on top, and today we're doing something very different and special. I'm going to show you exactly how I edit my reaction videos for YouTube. So I can't really comprehend why a video like this doesn't yet exist. When I first started researching on how to start a YouTube reaction channel, I found some helpful information as far as gear and whatnot, but actually how to do the editing and get past the YouTube algorithm and the copyright algorithm, I found next to nothing. It was extremely surprising, and so surprising because of how long YouTube reaction videos have been around, over a decade. I should have done research on when exactly they started, but at least over a decade. And they're more prominent than they've ever been. So I almost have to wonder if maybe other people did try to make videos like this and YouTube just suppressed them. So I don't know. We'll see if this ever sees the light of day. Now, a few disclaimers before we get into it. I haven't been doing this for very long. My channel is still small, as I'm sure you know if you're watching this, but I've been a fan of reaction channels for a long time, and I do feel like I have a pretty good eye on what makes this channel more enjoyable to watch than that channel, etc. And even though I've only had a short run here so far, I've gotten a lot of compliments on my editing, specifically of my videos. A lot of really nice compliments. People out there are more often nice than not. So I do appreciate that. And you know, I feel like I do let through, or I get through, not let through, I get through more of the episode that I'm watching than maybe other channels do, a little more. And I don't use any tropes like throwing a transparent logo over the screen or anything like that to get through the copyrights. Like, I won't say I'll never do that if everything else seems to fail, but good God, I will rue the day that I ever had to succumb to something like that. So, am I the #1 person qualified to put together a video like this? Definitely not. But am I the one doing it? Definitely. Another disclaimer, I use the very popular editing software Final Cut Pro to edit my videos, but this is not a Final Cut Pro tutorial video whatsoever. This video is specifically to show you how to edit reaction videos for YouTube. Nothing more and nothing less. Now, I will have to say a few technical things about the software I'm using, like use this button to cut here. But if you're using a different software, well, just use whatever button that software uses to cut here. Like, do not get hung up that I'm using a different editing software than you. There's an art to editing a video for YouTube, and that's what I'm trying to convey here in this video. The different mechanics to achieve that art from software to software just require an elementary knowledge of that software. That all being said, if you happen to be using Final Cut Pro, well, then this video, of course, will be especially useful to you. But once again, if you are not, you will still get so much out of this video. I promise. It's not about what button to use to cut. It's about why I'm cutting here. Final disclaimer. Am I telling you that if you follow my editing instructions to a T, your video will automatically get through the YouTube copyright algorithms? Hell no. This is just a baseline, and the show you are reacting to and editing is a factor. And I probably should have said this before now, but if you're familiar with my channel, you already know this, that 95% of the editing that I've done and gotten through YouTube or onto YouTube have been shows, episodes of shows, not movies. There isn't a certain like allotted time that you can get through the algorithm, regardless of whether it's a show or a movie. So, i.e., you can get through a lot more of a 43-minute episode of something versus a 2-hour movie. Now, I don't know what that value is. It's floating somewhere. I feel like it's not 100%. This is the value ever unchanging. But all that, just to wrap it up, I am showing you what has worked for me in my short career. Is this the best way to do it? I don't know. I'm sure some people will watch this who have been doing it for years and say, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But I'm making this video because there's nothing else out there like it. So I feel like there's a little starvation for this knowledge. So if you follow what I do, it may need to be tweaked to get it through, but at least you'll be close. All right, folks, without further ado, let's get into it. So here's Final Cut Pro, and what you're looking at is my full-length reaction project of Firefly episode 12. So that will have already come out on YouTube before this video. So if you're watching this video, it could be cool to watch that first and then kind of see how it was edited. I'm not going to show me editing the whole thing. That would just be a little boring, but definitely parts of it you can follow along and flip back and forth if that's at all an interest to you. So this is what I use to put on Patreon for my full length. But of course, on Patreon, you don't see this very clearly at all. You need your own copy because, I'm serious about copyright laws and whatnot. But I have put it to the parameters where how you see it on YouTube right here. So let's talk about my stack up here. I have 3 video files here and then 2 audio. So let's talk about the video ones first. If you are at all familiar with any type of editing software, and this is universal, what's on top will always be on top of the video. So this will show above this video and this video will show above this. So of course what this top one is the episode, Firefly episode 12, and I can turn it on and off using the V key here. And so what you're seeing here of me is this guy, and you see it is the exact same file as the one beneath it, but the top one is covering the bottom one completely. Now, why do I do that? This is just a little pre-editing stuff, but if you're familiar with my channel, maybe this would be interesting to you, and it's kind of a little efficiency hack, is that if I suppress my normal reaction self, and I'm gonna hit V and do it, what's below it is the same file, except I zoom it in and I put a little filter on it. And once again, if you guys are familiar with my channel, you'll know that for when I'm reacting, vehemently or rambunctiously when there's something exciting going on, I'll cut to me zoomed in like this so you can really get my expression right up in your face. And so instead of every time I want that to happen, I'll clip and then, okay, I'll add those effects there and zoom it in whenever I want that to happen. I just have a whole running clip of me with those effects on underneath. So anytime I want it, all I have to do is suppress this one right here, the main clip of me reacting. So that's just a little editing hack that a lot of people use in a lot of different ways, not just in reaction videos. So I figured I'd point that out. But yeah, that is the summary of my video stack-ups here. Now we'll talk about my 2 audio files here. The top one is the audio for me talking, and the bottom one is for the episode itself. Now, you might be wondering why I have them separated, because up in these video files, they have their own audio attached to them. See right there, I just lifted up the audio of the episode. But even though this video is not, the point of it is not to talk about the audio, I thought it'd be unfair of me to skimp over that because I do process my own audio, my reaction, what comes out of my mouth separately, and I also process the episode separately. So I have, I've had a history of music production. So I have software on the side that I'll put my voice through to make it sound even better, de-esser, and this and that. This is not at all required to have a successful YouTube reaction channel. The main thing to do for good audio is get a good mic. And this Shure guy, this is a very common one that you see on a lot of reaction channels. I think it's like 300 something. I'll put a link in the description down below. But don't skimp on the mic, because no matter what you process your own voice through later, post-processing, it's not going to matter much if your raw sound is subpar. So don't skimp on the mic. And also from that kind of standpoint about what to skimp on and what not, if you have to skimp on the webcam or the mic, once again, don't skimp on the mic. Skimp on the webcam. People have a much higher tolerance of watching a poor video quality with good audio versus a really nice high quality video with poor audio. So now on to the audio of the episode. Once again, I process it separately, and what I'm about to say is also not a critical step to get to the end goal of getting a edited video onto YouTube. This one, you might want to take some time to do a little research to find a program that can do what I'm about to tell you to do. I have a program, and once again, I have a huge musical background, so I have everything under the sun, but I have something that I can use to pitch down the audio ever so slightly. And we're talking about ever so slightly to the point where no one's going to be able to tell unless they're listening to a non-pitched version of the audio and switching back and forth between non-pitched and pitched. You're going to want to, I haven't done any research. Like I said, I've had these programs for years. I imagine there's got to be something out there, cheap or even free, that can pitch audio up and down, and you want to make sure it has the resolution to do it by cents. So not to get a little music theory jargony on you, but I'm not talking about pitching it down a whole half step, like from A sharp to A to G sharp. No, there are 50 cents from A sharp to A, for example, and I'm not going a whole half step. I usually go 30 cents. And I have found in the past that this has seemingly helped me get through the YouTube algorithm. There's been a couple of instances where I get a copyright, and instead of trying to re-edit from a video standpoint, I just pitch the audio down just a little bit more, and then it gets through. I'm not saying that always works, but it has worked in the past. So this is something you might want to consider. It definitely also helps get music through, because a lot of times the music of what you're watching is what's going to get you dinged for copyright. All right, so let's finally get to editing. It goes without saying that I've already lined up my reaction with the episode, and there are quirks or tricks you can do to make that easier. A lot of people clap at the beginning or whatnot, but it is still a manual process for me because I don't have enough fancy equipment to record myself and the episode at the same time. I do those separately, so then I have to bring them together. But that's not the point of the video. Once again, I've already lined everything up. So what's the essential tool for editing? Well, it's cutting. You cut 1,000 times to edit a YouTube video. Now, in Final Cut Pro specifically, I can hit B to get my little cutting tool. But as you see, I can only cut one thing at a time, whether it's one video stream or one audio stream. 99 times out of 100, I'm going to want to cut through the entire stack. 99 times out of 100. So let me undo all that. And in Final Cut Pro, the way to do that is you hold Command and Shift, and then you can hit B. And I just float above everything, and boom, look, I can cut throughout the entire stack. So that is essential. So if you're using a different software, figure out how to cut through the entire stack. There's definitely a way to do it. So I just undid those cuts. Now, I do my editing in 2 phases. I'll do phase 1, and that takes me through the entire episode. Then I'll go back and do phase 2 through the entire episode again. And that may seem like a waste of time, but I assure you it is not. The strategy and the mindset that I have during phase 1 is vastly different than, I shouldn't say vastly, it's different than phase 2. So I just find it's easier to focus on one thing and go throughout, and then focus on another. And I'll talk about both phases. And after you see them both, maybe your mind will be advanced enough to do everything at the same time. It is possible to just go right from the beginning all the way to the end and be done. But I break it up into 2 phases, and I think you'll see why. The first thing I'll say about phase 1 is that it's definitely the more time-consuming phase of the 2. It's where the heavy lifting really happens. It's where the decisions you make will most acutely affect your final product that the audience sees. And that may seem daunting, but the definition of phase 1, what you actually do, is really simple. Simply, you're cutting out what the audience will never ever see on YouTube. So you're cutting out both audio and video, chunks of audio and video, chunks of audio and video, chunks of audio and video. So are you cutting out the fat? Yeah, definitely. You're definitely cutting out the fat, but you're not just cutting out the fat. And that's the difficult part about phase 1. You cut out just the fat, the dead spaces, places where no one's talking, this and that. It's not going to be enough. You will not get through the YouTube copyright algorithm. You also, in addition, have to cut out things you might not want to. You have to analyze the video and the episode, and the more familiar you are with the episode, the easier this is. But you have to analyze what you can cut out while still maintaining a coherent narrative and story from beginning to end. So yeah, it's tough. This is where the art form comes in. You're gonna leave things on the cutting room floor that's gonna make your heart hurt. It's things that the audience would still really love to see and would still enjoy, but unfortunately, this is a critical step to be able to get your video through the YouTube algorithm. Now, I'll briefly explain phase 2 here just so you guys get a full picture, but I'll definitely go into it more deeply once we get to it after we complete phase 1. But you can always skip ahead, see the chapter titles down below. Now, once phase 1 is complete, you're gonna have basically the length of your episode established, your edited episode. In phase 2, what you wanna do is you wanna go in and start ducking out just the video of your episode at strategic intervals. And that's why when you watch my reaction, a lot of times you'll see just me on screen, not the episode, but you'll still be able to hear the audio of the episode. And this is another critical step to get through the YouTube copyright algorithm. If you have the video up there continuously for too long, and too long is not that long, you're gonna get hit with the copyright right away. So once again, another critical step is phase 2. But like I said earlier, or alluded to earlier, phase 2 is much less mentally taxing and thus much quicker to execute than phase 1. All right, let's start performing phase 1. So right here at the beginning, a lot of Firefly episodes have recaps, so I'm definitely going to get through this, take all the recap. It's right about there. So let me just zoom in a little bit once again. That's Command plus to zoom in. Let's see. Okay, kind of fades in right there. So let me just cut it. Command Shift B. And if I want to delete all of this, I got to delete the quote unquote head file, which is this bottom one here, this bottom video file. So delete. Okay. Now let me turn the audio on using this button right here so I can hear it. Wait till the message. Oh, wow, that was a short recap. Okay. Look at this ship they're on. Wow. Crazy. All right, look at the ship that they're on. Wow, I'll start with that. I'm gonna try and get... Okay, let me cut right about there. Let me put a little transition in from when I'm going like, sliding over in my chair. I like the little bloom guy here. Here, but I'm gonna push the video back a little bit, and then I'm gonna hit N. So I'm gonna push this back, and with N on, you see things lock on like the way they're doing there. So let's see.
Look at this ship they're on. Wow.
Okay, that's not bad. Now the only issue is here. I'm gonna hit a cut. I'm gonna do a cut right there. So when I say do a cut, every time I'm gonna be Command Shift B unless I say otherwise. So this file right here. Let me hit S so I stop scrolling. Unfortunately, has the effects down below that I don't want just for this little section. So I'm just gonna go back and fix that. I think it was like 107, 33, and then this color board. Was that it? Let's see. Once again, not quite getting into the meat of it yet. Okay, I think so.
Look at this ship they're on. Wow.
Oh, whoa, yeah, something's wrong right there. Oh, yeah, because -85 here. Okay. Now, why do I look so red? Let me just make sure. Oh, I know why. Copy and paste there. Just get the hue saturation that I need there. Okay. Sorry, folks. We'll get into it in 2 seconds.
They're on. Wow.
Okay, there we go.
Look at this ship they're on. Wow. Crazy shape. That's a station. That's not a ship.
It's a station. That's not a ship.
That's
okay, agree.
Station. That's not a ship.
Okay, great. I'm gonna cut there first.
Got some carnival vibes.
Okay, a little just.
Got some carnival.
I'm gonna cut out the little flab, the little dead space between me talking and me talking. And so I do that a lot, the strategy where I'll talk and then I can easily cut out until I talk next. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, so.
That's a station, that's not a ship. Got some carnival vibes.
Okay, like that. Okay, I'm gonna keep all that dialogue in from the show, our oppressive Kabbalistic allied governments. Boom. Okay. Do that. Like that. And flute guy, cool. That's not that important. And because I know the episode, I've only watched it once, but I'm still familiar with it enough to where this intro scene is not that important. I wanted the beginning here, get a little bit of me talking, a little bit of the vibe, but at this point I think we've gotten enough, so I'm going to keep going forward. Let's see.
I recognize the magician's face.
Yeah. Recognize his face. I mean, I'm going to zoom out by Command minus a little bit, so this goes a little quicker.
Okay. I love these two together.
Okay, so now let's get some Simon and River here. So, all right, so here's the first kind of obvious thing. I'm gonna cut, and it'd be dumb of me to cut right here and say delete this, delete all that flab, because then, and then I got that little piece of the end of that scene that I didn't want. So let me undo that. So basically what I'm saying is you want to cut into the scene that you're about to show. So there are opening cuts and closing cuts, and you basically are going to switch back and forth the whole time. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. So opening cut, we want to be in the scene, right? So we're in the Simon and River scene, just ever so slightly. Okay, a couple frames, fine. That's okay, that's fine.
I love these two together.
And actually, there's a little space where nothing's happening before I say K. And so, like, that can be cut out too. It's not much at all, but there are a lot of cuts that you're going to do that you're going to be removing very small amounts of material. So sometimes this is not for the faint of heart to do this endeavor. So,
love these two together.
Yep, it's cow fetus.
Alright.
All right.
Guess so.
Is this like a display
Have
of...
an awful lot of limbs.
No. No. Mutated.
I don't think we need Simon saying mutated. And you might be like, why? Why not? It's just such a small thing. Well, if I keep that in, and then I keep this in, and I keep that in, and I keep that in, that are all tiny unnecessary bits, it adds up. So, take that out here.
Have a lot of limbs.
No. Freak show kind of things. Come on in. Look at the bearded lady. And this or that.
So, just know that I'm going slower than I probably would if I was just editing this, without making this video. And I'm going to go back and show you a lot of how the edits look after the fact, where if I was just doing this by myself, I'm confident enough to where I know this edit's good and I don't have to go back and watch it. I'm not saying that's 100% of the cuts I make, but a lot of them, I've been doing this enough to where, like, I know that's going to look good. I don't have to waste time and watch it, but either way.
And this or that.
Okay.
The dwarf heads, the guy with two heads or something,
Yeah, I don't feel like that commentary by me is necessary there.
And I'm out 12 bits.
Yeah.
And I'm out 12 bits. Okay, that's fine. Leave that in for now. So, I said, so that was an opening, that was a close. Though it's the same scene, so that aspect of open versus close doesn't totally matter. Well, once we get to the end of the scene, maybe it'll come up.
This or that.
And I'm out 12 bits.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Disgusting time. Okay. Let's go straight to poor little thing.
Yeah.
Poor little thing. Never even saw a light of day. Now it's in show business.
That is kind of sad.
That is kind of sad.
Now it's in show business.
And I can even cut out just a tiny bit of where she ends before I begin, which once again, what is that? That's 12 frames. So that's not even a second, but kind of matters sometimes.
What's in show business?
That is kind of sad.
Yeah, and that seems fine. Why do you need those 12 frames?
That's kind of sad.
But like, I'm letting my expression kind of finish a little bit or get established. Maybe we're right about there. Oops, wrong button. I hit V instead of B. Okay.
You managed to find the bright side of every single thing.
Yep, I like that line. Cut out that keep saying flab. Cut out that dead space. I need a better word for a single word. Cut out that dead space before Simon's line there. Cut after his line.
Also, we've
Also weave.
got this booth chart.
Okay, so here's a good, I'm cutting out a lot of this fat too. Here, dead space. Also weave. Pause. Cut out the pause. Go right into, got a lot of whatever.
Got this
So like,
Every single thing.
Also, we've got this booth to ourselves for 5 whole minutes.
mm.
Come on, Simon.
Okay.
Tell me more good stuff.
It's all good there. It's all good. Nothing to cut out there, I don't think.
Okay.
Okay, cut that out. What did you say? You're a genius when it comes to machines.
Well, you're kind of a genius when it comes to machines.
Yep. That's another, like little fat I cut out without really thinking about it. And of course, the audio, the visual of the audio file, meaning these peaks and valleys when the audio comes in, is obviously very helpful for what I am doing, quickly knowing where the dead space is, because there's no waveform that's popping up. Due to my paranoia, I'm going to make sure I'm still recording here. Okay, great.
Well, you're kind of a genius when it comes to machines.
Okay, scenes.
You always say what you mean.
Okay, I could cut out that little bit, but I'm feeling generous right now.
You always say what you mean.
Do I even want that line, though?
In your eyes are genius when it comes to machines.
Actually, I don't want that line.
In your eyes.
That's a little tough, though, because here's the thing. It switches to a view on Kaylee before Simon finishes that line, like machines. So I wouldn't want to cut until we're at Kaylee, but then I want to cut all this, and once again, it cuts back to Simon before he finishes a line, and sometimes that can be a little frustrating the way shows are directed. House of the Dragon is a really big guilty party with that. It's just this directorial thing where someone says a line, and on the last word before they are finished, it'll cut to someone else, and you'll hear the other person's last line, but now it's showing who they're talking to, perhaps, and that happens all the time. And at that point, I'm going to bring up again in phase 2. So I might be forced to keep this because watch what happens if I don't. It cut so mean. See, I have to like that, and then see, I have to go over here. So I think what's going to happen is going to switch to Kaylee and back kind of awkwardly. Let me see if I'm right about that.
You're kind of a genius when it comes to machines. In your eyes.
Yeah. That didn't look as bad as I thought. Actually, maybe I could have kept it on Kaylee a little longer. So let me undo some of that. And the second cut, I'm going to go right up to the line that I want to cut out. Okay, I think that'll work. And then up here, let's see.
You're kind of a genius when it comes to machines. In your eyes.
Yeah. So I think that's tolerable with how quick that we showed Kaylee. Something a little shorter, you kind of get to the point where it just looks too weird and too flashy. But if it's short but not too short, that's artful, right? Let's watch it again.
You're kind of a genius when it comes to machines. In your eyes.
Okay.
Eyes, good.
Yeah.
Eyes are good.
Yeah.
Don't fuck this up. They're beautiful. They're utterly beautiful.
I like all that.
Mesmerizing. I get lost in them. I can help you out, Simon. I got a million of them.
Every other girl I know is
Either.
married, professional, or
I know my reaction's kind of funny here, so I don't think I'm gonna be cutting too much out. I kind of it's dawning on me that Simon is crashing and burning.
closely related to me, so you're more or less you're literally the only girl in the world.
Okay.
The world.
I like my eyes shut tighter there, but then I think there's this big gap where I can,
That's a hell of a thing to
yeah, cut that out. And once this kind of cut, I'd be very confident in it. I wouldn't watch it back, but I'll for your guys' sake.
The world.
That's a hell of a thing to
That's fine. That's fine for my face to jump like that. People realize that that's part of editing. It's gonna happen.
I was joking.
Fudge.
Oh, no, I get it. I do.
Yeah, that's another. I'll just make that point now. Like, your audience has a tolerance for editing. They're not expecting Spielberg, or Hollywood level editing. They're just watching a stupid reaction video. So don't be too hard on yourself. Just wanted to take the time to say that.
Oh, no, I get it. I do.
What did I do?
Back on Osaka. Oh, I get it. I do.
Okay, so this is another
Get it. I do.
where it switches to Kaylee before she finishes, so I need to keep that. But then I want to, let's see, I want me taking my head out of my hand, so I can cut a little bit of that out.
Oh, no, I get it. I do. Back on Osiris.
And actually, I was watching myself.
Back on.
Okay, Kaylee jumps a bit there, but it's not drastic. So once again, that's in the level of tolerance that your audience is going to be fine with,
Fudge.
Oh, no, I get it. I do. Back
Okay.
on Osiris, you probably had nurses and debutantes crawling all over you, but down here at the bottom of the barrel, it's just.
Simon.
I'm
Simon.
glad I rated higher than Bessie here.
Oh no. Oh God. God.
okay. So I see all my audio there. I know I can go. I know I want that.
Oh my God. It's grotesque.
And this wash thing at the end is funny. Okay, here's a little dead space.
That's so disappointing. Oh, and then
And I kind of missed the wash joke, but then I acknowledge it here.
I missed that joke. That was funny. That was funny.
So, okay. So now I'm going to cut to a new scene, and it's a little unfortunate that I don't want to cut right. So it's me now that is still talking when the scene shifts, and that's just luck of the draw. So I need to go into when they zoom the scene here, the shot, when they zoom in on Simon and Zoe. But that's fine because in phase 2, you can fix that. That'll be a portion where I'll probably just duck the video out. So little tails like this can be fixed or dealt with in phase 2. I'll also mention now that like this stuff, like the me zooming into myself, that occurs in phase 2 as well. That's why I'm not doing it at all in phase 1 here. Okay. Okay. Bad at talking girls. Yeah, I know. I mean, I kind of like that, but I feel like we've been on the scene a little too long, so I definitely want to get cut out. Let me see what I say here, though.
Ooh, Zoe.
Someone you are good at talking to?
Ooh, Zoe.
Okay, that's tough to cut out, but I need to leave some stuff for my Patreon supporters. Hey, Frankie, you want to come up here? Yeah, that's another thing. You know, your Patreon supporters are paying for something, so you can't leave all of your great, you know, awesome, amazing reactions in, right? You got to leave them wanting for something. So I am got to cut that out. Okay. All right, so this is them talking about the Lassiter and how they're not really finding a buyer. I don't think it's overly important to the story here. I talk about the Mona Lisa, I think. I kind of want to leave that in, though. Let me see. Let me watch this.
Oh, the gun? Oh. Okay.
I think I'll start right there, actually, because I want my Mona Lisa line in here.
Oh, the gun? Oh.
I say, oh, the gun in a bad spot. Okay, I'll start with Mal saying I got this priceless artifact. Okay. Right there.
Oh, and oh, gosh, I kind of missed that joke. That was funny. Oh, the gun? Oh. Okay.
Zoom in. Okay, there's some fat here.
Mona Lisa is such bullshit. The reason it got bullshit.
Okay, cut out that fat.
Mona Lisa is such bullshit. The reason it got famous is such a bullshit story. Go look it up.
Mona who?
Look it up.
Okay, that's a good way to tie it off. What he says next? Okay, yeah, and then consider her offer to find, I don't know, a more risky buyer for the gun. I don't think that's really important. What do I say? Offer no.
Alright, I guess. Well, dribble there, I guess. Right, that's...
Talks with the guy. On the stage. Okay, I read your wave. So we're going to jump right to that.
Such a bullshit story. Go look it up.
Okay.
So this is going to be a central hub of some sort. They got post here? Oh, somebody got post here?
Okay, back to me. Cut right there. Any packages for me? Okay. People like River. Maybe I'll keep that in. My food's problematic. Okay. Okay. But I don't need to keep in Jane making fun of her.
That does look like a stupid type of food.
Yeah. Okay. Get a discount. Tries to rip Mal off. Doesn't really pertain to the episode. Oh, here we go. Right about there. Okay. Cut that. See how that looks. Once again, I know it's gonna look fine. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. And I didn't say I know it's gonna look great and amazing because I'm like the best at this. No, I know it's gonna look fine. Like any people aren't watching for any one cut. They're watching for a coherent story. So keep that in mind. Okay, and then he gets a hat. I don't really need that. Okay, I don't want any parts. Cut. Yeah, I don't need any of the Mal hat thing. Okay, I'll keep this Inara scene in. Well, let's start with the river shot. So once again, I want to start with this scene, so I got to get into it. I'm not going to cut right before it to get a little snippet of Jane unnecessarily there. Okay. And this is a lesser thing I'll pay attention to, but see that this haha is from my mother's subtitle. Since was from a previous scene, I'm going to go into it so I avoid it. And so do Aliens Live Among Us. That's what you see. Now, sometimes I don't worry about that too much if there are instances where a subtitle is still on the screen left over from a previous shot. If it has to be there, that's another thing that's well within the tolerance of your audience. They don't care if there's a stray subtitle that doesn't get said. So let me delete that. Oh, and then I say, is it a bunk cake? And unfortunately, you lose my context to that. But that's another thing that I'm not too worried about. Sorry. Yeah, if you want the context, go join my Patreon. That's gonna be a little tight cut because once again, I don't need any of Jane and his stupid hat. I'm gonna get right up to when he starts talking. The little bump there. That's the my right there. Okay, so that's my opening cut. I guess another way. Well, I guess it's the closing cut here for this scene, and or this shot, and it's the closing cut for this. So maybe how I would describe opening and closing, it was a little not the best way to describe it. Like the cut I just made is ending this shot, and I'm cutting out all this. You guys get what I mean. Oh, I kind of want to keep that in for. Let's see. Maybe I will leave this in just for my line of so he can read. So I'm going to undo that cut. Not that I had to undo it. The cut could still be there, but if I don't delete anything, then you're not going to notice a cut's there. Okay. I'll keep the pause between travels and travels in there because that's, there's a point to that pause. He can read, but he can't read very well. Travels. Okay. Something like that. That seems a little abrupt. Travels. Let's try that. So he can read. Okay, so I'm cutting into a Jane line still. So what I'm gonna do now, and I usually do this in Phase 2, but I'll show you here, is sometimes I'll just mute the episode's audio because I'm saying something and I happen to be talking over something they're saying that is just not important, and thus it gives me the liberty to cut it off. because I'm just muting it. So
he can read.
okay, let's keep going. I really want Jane to shut the fuck up.
What's gonna be in this crate?
Okay, let's look at the crate. What's gonna be in this crate? So I give a little time where I'm not talking, just so you can see the crate before I say what's gonna be in this crate. I think that's better than just me going straight to like what's gonna be in this crate at the same time you see the crate. So let's watch this thing again.
So he can read. What's gonna be in this crate?
Okay, I'll give his hat a do.
That's nice.
Okay, that little guy. Got a tiny bit out. That's nice.
That's nice.
Okay, get a little bit of Kaylee in there because I love her. Okay, cut there. Let's see, so cutting. This is all being cut out. This is all being cut out. That's probably the best way to think about where you are. Like, so I make this cut, and now as I'm scrolling, I know I'm in the mode of like, this is all getting cut. Where's the next time I want something to be cut in? And then I'll cut in, and then I'm scrolling. All right, this is all being left in. Where's the next time? Where does the stuff I want to be left in stop? That's probably the best way to describe it. So right now, as I'm scrolling, I'm like, all right, this is all out. This is all out. When do I want to start bringing stuff back in? Travels. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm still out. Okay, they're opening the crate. I love you, mother.
Very sweet.
Okay, still, I don't need any of this. This is still out scrolling. That's what I'm gonna call it. Out scrolling and in scrolling. Right or anything. Let's hope we get some funny hats too. Well, I can leave that in. Let's hope we get some funny hats too, because we've at least seen the hat, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna cut right there. I'm gonna cut in. Yeah, that's the obvious way to describe it. I don't know why I described it the way I did earlier. My bad, guys. Okay, a little sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus?
Okay. So I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to out scroll. And it's only going to be a small out scroll to. I'm going to cut back in. Delete that. Whoa, what were those lines? Oh, I must have hit something.
Sarcophagus?
Make sure I'm still recording just fine. Okay. All right.
Kind of new age sarcophagus? I was kind of thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Thing that. Cut into let's see.
Thinking that. Let's see.
Get some of the air hiss in there. Cut out. Oh, well. Okay, that wasn't a good place to cut. Never mind. Bring that, because we just see the body. And I have that expression.
Kind
of, sort of. Let me cut out there. And once again, just because I'm like, all right, let me cut out here, doesn't mean I have to stick with that. I only think I want to cut out there. And so let's see if that's true. If I'm wrong, I'll go back and hit undo. It's fine. It's like...
Is this the message?
Is this the message? Okay. Keep that in.
Kind of, sort of. Is this the message?
Okay, leave a little bit of that. Okay. Some shot, let's see. Shot of them floating over. Let's see if I want that. I'm still out scrolling right now, but I'm kind of deciding. Maybe I'll go back and... Alright, I'll start right there. How about like a little bit of them just looking before Jane says his piece. Hold on, let me...
A message?
What'd y'all order a dead guy for?
I bet he ain't dead.
Okay. All right, so that's a great place to stop phase one. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. So now we are going to go to phase two of what we just did. Once again, I would go through the whole episode of just phase one, but for the sake of this video, we'll go back through what we just edited and do phase two. Okay, let me zoom out. Let's go back. So, okay, that's all the work we just did, folks. Ooh. Just to give you a little, I hit S so I stop scrolling, just to give you a little visual of what we still have to go. That's all we did. If I click on here, this is a normal 43-minute episode of a TV show, and so we have 37 minutes left. So that was about 6 minutes of what we did. So you can see that phase one is what is definitely the times suck. Because once you get through phase one, instead of 43 minutes, you're going to have between 20 and 23, something like that. And so phase two is quicker, not only because it takes less thought, and we'll get to that in a moment, but also because what you have to edit is just a much less. So. All right, let's get into phase two. Let's go back here. Okay, I'm gonna hit S, so I scroll. So just as a reminder, phase two is removing the video, just the video, but keeping the audio at strategic intervals. So my strategy here is to, most of the time, if I can help it, only have a single shot of the video on for 5 seconds tops. So if it's 5 seconds that a video is shown, I'm going to be ducking it out for a certain amount of time, and it could be less. It's just, I find it important that like it just breaks it up. So whatever algorithm is analyzing your video gets disrupted, and you use a constant disruption so it can't get you. Now, I'm not saying that means every time the video is on is going to be 5 seconds, but so you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, for this phase, I find it important to be zoomed in to a certain amount. So let me do this. So these tickers up here are in 5 second intervals. So, 4, 4, 5, 4, 10. Where in the phase one, I was zooming in, I was zooming out. It didn't really matter. But for this one, I'm going to stick at this level of zoom for this. So I know that's about 5 seconds. And so thus you start to learn like, all right, that's going to be like a little less. All right, that's going to be exactly 5. Okay. That's going to be a little less. This one looks too long. This one's definitely short enough. This one is definitely too long, So you just get that visual muscle memory there. So, okay. Let me go back and watch this beginning transition.
Look at this ship that they're on. Wow. Crazy shape.
Look at the ship that they're on.
This ship that they're on. Wow.
I'm actually gonna take that and just say on wow, it'll come in.
Look at this ship that they're on. Wow. Crazy shape. That's a station. That's not a ship.
Okay. And see now, look, this is only 4 seconds. Oh, and I zoomed in, didn't I? I already broke my rule. But this is only 4 seconds, so I could keep it in. But I don't need this, like when I say this part.
That's a station. That's not a ship.
I don't need to show the visual there. I'd rather take that away so I can then have something maybe more important visually be on screen. So I'm gonna do a big old cut right about there. And what I want to take out, the video I want, I'm just gonna hit V right on that. So
look at this ship that they're on. Wow. Crazy shape. That's a station. That's not a ship.
okay, so that was a little bit of a weird place to cut because I should have paid attention to that a little more. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna give it a little bit more of the inside shot of the ship. So let's.
Look at this ship that they're on. Wow. Crazy shape. That's a station. That's not a ship.
Okay, that looked really good because it really lined up with me talking. And I'm not saying you have to do that every time, but when you can, it looks really nice. Due to my paranoia, make sure I am recording. Okay.
It's a station. That's not a ship. Got some carnival vibe.
Carnival vibes, all right.
Okay. Vibes.
Now, okay, so,
Vibes.
all right, so I'll cut right here. Because once again, this scene's only 4 seconds too. So I could leave it in, but then what would I have? I'd have to start ducking out the first time we see Simon and River. Like, I don't want to do that. No. Really, when you have a very long dialogue scene, that 5-second thing makes it really easy. And actually, I would say that applies most in long scenes with long dialogue. But so here, I'm going to cut right about there. And then you'll just be listening to that guy's oppressive cabalistic allied government line. So.
That's not shit. Got some carnival vibes.
Okay.
I love these two together.
It's a cow fetus.
All right.
It's cow fetus, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, all right, let's duck out.
All right. It's just like.
Okay, and I guess so, I'll keep there. And so once again, kind of like before, I know I'm in duck out mode. When I'm scrolling here, I'm ducking out. So where do I duck back in? I want to duck back in once the scene changes or the shot changes there. I don't want to duck back in here and catch just a little bit of Kaylee. Watch, let me show you how that looks.
It's a cow fetus.
All right.
Guess so.
It's just. Like,
Yeah, see, that looked horrible. That flash was way too quick. So let me undo that. Cut. Let me make sure I'm in the nice, beautiful cow fetus shot.
all right. It's just like a display of freak show kind of things. Come on in. Look. Come on in, look at the bearded lady, and this or that.
So I'm definitely talking over them, but I don't think what they're saying is very important at all. So sometimes if I can cut the video out for a decent amount of time, I will, because I think that helps. So this whole 5 seconds, I'm actually going to suppress because I'm talking the whole time. So
It's just like a display of, freak show kind of things. Come on in, look at the bearded lady, and this or that.
and I could even choose to mute the episode audio. I don't know if it's
Freak show kind of things. Come on in, look at the bearded lady, and this or that.
Hand him out
Okay.
12 bits.
yeah, I'll do that.
Hand him out 12 bits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
That is kind of sad.
that is kind of sad. Let me cut that out. But now I'm leaving these 2 shots in. So let me just hold shift and see. All right, 15 seconds. That's kind of my limit there. Like, so I'm okay. I'm okay with that. So
Hand him out 12 bits.
Yeah.
to be safe, actually, I'm just gonna cut really quick, duck the video on my yup.
This or that.
Hand him out 12 bits.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is kind of sad.
You managed to find the bright side of every single thing.
Oh, so that little sometimes what you do in phase 1 makes phase 2 easier. Like that little guy right there, I can cut that right out. The also weave, boom, the video. Mmm. Let me see. Okay, let me try that. Okay, so you see that I cut out, I cut out before I start my and I thus cut out the word minutes on Kaylee, which you might, intrinsically think like, oh, well, you don't want to do that. But remember in phase 1 where I was talking about how a lot of directors will cut from someone talking right before they're done talking and cut to say who they're talking to while you still hear the end of their sentence. And one might think initially, oh, well, that would be jarring, but it happens all the time. Go look at your favorite shows all the time. So the same way we're tolerant to that switch, even though a sentence isn't finished, they're tolerant of this. An audience member is tolerant of this. I'm not switching to another scene. I'm just switching out of the scene. So even though I'm cutting away before Kaylee finishes her got this booth to ourselves for 5 whole minutes, it's fine. It's kind of semi-directorial. Not alone.
Come on, Simon.
Tell me more good stuff about me.
Okay.
Tell me more good stuff.
Come on, Simon.
Tell me more good stuff about me.
Okay, let me cut there. Cut that out real quick. What is this? 504. We're at the right at the limit there. Okay.
Okay.
Well, you're kind of a genius when it comes to machines. Your
Eyes, good, good.
well, you're kind of a genius when it comes to machines.
Okay. So here's
Your
Eyes, good, good. Eyes are good.
I like the eye stuff here, so I'm actually going to choose to cut out "You're kind of a genius when it comes to machines," because I'm quiet, so you know the audience can just listen to that on their own, audio-wise. They don't have to see the visual.
well, you're kind of a genius when it comes to machines. Your
Eyes, good, good.
How much do I? Okay, no, sorry.
your
Eyes, good, good. Eyes are good. Don't fuck this up. Eyes are good.
Don't fuck this up. So okay, I want to cut away at "Don't fuck this up," but I want to still be in the scene, not out of it. So it's the opposite, right? When I'm cutting out. So, you know, once again, you just always want to avoid those little tiny flashes of remnants of scenes.
Don't fuck this up. They're beautiful.
Okay, I'll just take that, just what I say out here.
Your
Eyes, good, good. Eyes are good. Don't fuck this up. They're beautiful. They're utterly beautiful. Mesmerizing. I get lost.
Okay.
Utterly beautiful. Beautiful.
Let's see.
Mesmerizing. I get lost in them.
Okay, let me go right there. What's this? 515. All right.
Mesmerizing. I get lost in them. I can help you out, Simon. I got a million of them.
the girl I know is either.
Yeah, let's try that.
Don't fuck this up. They're beautiful. They're utterly beautiful. Mesmerizing. I get lost in them. I can help you out, Simon. I got a million of them.
Every other girl I know is either married, professional, or.
So once again, I just keep preaching that we have a high tolerance as an audience for cutting the visual out. How do I say this? When the visual ducks, wherever it is in the audio, even if it's still within a sentence, it's still fine. We see that all the time, like I've been saying. So we'll go back and watch that again. And I cut out when I'm still talking, and I kind of cut in when they're in the middle of a sentence. But as long as visually doesn't look jarring, that's what you want. The cutout is clean visually, and cut in is clean visually, whereas the cutout auditorially and the cut in auditorially, not as clean, but far less important. We have much more tolerance. Let's just watch that again.
They're beautiful.
Watch where I cut out
They're
here.
utterly
Yeah.
beautiful. Mesmerizing. I get lost in them. I can help you out, Simon. I got a million of them.
Every other girl I know is either married,
Okay.
professional, or.
Okay. Yeah. So see, like that looked fine. Married. Let's keep going.
Professional or closely related to me, so. Closely related to me.
Okay. I'm gonna right when I start to say, "Oh no," it's 517. I'm pushing the limit a lot here.
So.
Hope that doesn't get me into trouble.
More or less here. More or less here. Literally the only girl.
Okay. I'm gonna cut all that out. Sometimes I'm like, I'm pushing the limit. Let me cut out a little more here. Does that really help? I don't know, but that's what I do.
Literally the only girl in the world.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
That's a joke.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have to cut that out too.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
That's a joke.
Oh, no, I get it. I do. Back on Osiris.
Cut that.
You probably had nurses and debutantes.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit, and then we'll watch back.
Debutantes crawling all over you, but down here at the bottom of the barrel, it's
Simon. Simon.
I'm glad I rated higher than.
Simon.
I'm glad I rated higher than Bessie.
Oh no.
Bessie.
Oh no. God, you're done fucked. Oh, you're done fucked up.
Oh my god, it's grotesque.
Done fucked up.
Oh my god, it's
Okay, let's go to the end of the scene. And we'll watch all I just did.
oh, there's something in a jar.
That's so disappointing. Oh,
There's something in a jar.
that's disappointing. Oh, and watch, I kind of missed that joke. Oh, watch, I missed that joke.
Okay, so I did a lot of that. I don't want to say without thinking, but you know, it's once again, I keep saying it. The tolerance of where you cut out from an audio standpoint is so much higher from the audience's standpoint. Let's see. Where did I?
Beautiful. Miss Rising, I get lost. I can help you outside. I
We saw that one already.
More or less, literally.
Okay, here's start. Let's watch here.
To me, so. More or less, you're literally the only girl in the world.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
I was joking.
Fudge.
Oh, no, I get it, I do. Back on Osiris, you probably had nurses and debutantes crawling all over you, but down here at the bottom of the barrel, it's just...
Oh, Simon.
I'm glad I rated higher than Bessie here.
Oh, no. Oh, God, you done fucked up.
Oh my god, it's grotesque. Oh, and there's something in a jar.
That's so disappointing. Oh, and watch, I kind of missed that joke. That was funny.
Okay, so I saw one issue with that, but let me just fix. Remember, I said I was going to fix this in phase one, the very end here where
That was funny.
they zoom in there.
What? That joke.
I can just cut before it,
That was funny.
mute that.
Watch, I kind of missed that joke. That was funny.
Okay, so that little zoom in coming down issue. Where I did see an issue was, once again, it was a visual issue. It's not there's no auditory issues at all. It's a visual one. So let's go back. Where was it? Something flashed a little too quick. I think it was right about here.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah, I kind of broke my own rule. So instead of doing a lot of undos, I'm just going to make another cut into this shot and then just mute that little sliver of video. So
At the bottom of the barrel, it's just...
Oh, Simon.
I'm glad I rated higher than Bessie here.
Oh, no.
okay.
Such a joke. That joke. That's funny.
Priceless artifact. The biggest,
That joke. That's funny.
priceless artifact. The biggest score of my assembly career. No,
Oh, the gun.
Okay, let's keep going here. So I'm going to talk less. I'm going to blow through a little bit of this. So you guys can just watch if you want.
Oh, the gun. Okay.
I'm seeing it as like I'm seeing the Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa is such bullshit. The reason it got famous is such bullshit story. Go look it up. Mona Lisa is such bullshit. Such story. Look it up.
Okay, that's all me talking. So I'm just going to...
Mona Lisa is such bullshit. The reason it got famous is
That little girl says something like, hey. So I'm just going to mute the episode too.
Mona Lisa is such bullshit. The reason it got famous is such a bullshit story. Go look it up.
Okay.
Raise your weight. You holding some pills for me?
It's gonna be a drill hub of some sort. They got posts here. So I was. Plum cake. Plum cake.
What is the doctor?
It's a hard one to cut out, but I'm going to have to.
So we can't.
So we can read, so I can cut that out. 6 seconds. Nah, I'm not letting that go through. So cut that little chunk to split it up to 2 smaller clips.
It's gonna be in this crate. It's gonna be in this crate. Oh, that's nice. Oh. Oh, that's nice. Oh.
little quick. That was way too quick one. What is this? 4? Okay, let me see.
Sarcophagus? Kind of new age sarcophagus? Sarcophagus? Kind
Okay.
of new age sarcophagus? I was kind of thinking that. Let's see.
All right, actually, yeah, I'll do that.
I was kind of thinking that. Let's see. Guys, what was that?
Okay.
Guys, is this the message? What y'all order? What y'all order?
Okay, cool. We reached the point that we ended phase 1. So let's go back and just watch all of that I did, which is basically that last scene in the, you know, in the post area.
This priceless artifact, the biggest score of my assuming career, and no one will touch it.
Oh, the
The
gun?
monsters
Oh,
universally known.
okay.
Friends seeing it is like friends seeing the Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa is such bullshit. The reason it got famous is such a bullshit story. Go look it up.
Where's your wave? You holding some posts for me?
So this is gonna be a central hub of some sort. They got post here?
Packages for me? Don't know yet.
River.
Food is problematic.
This one's addressed to you and Zoe, Mal.
Don't remember ordering any parts.
Is it a bump cake?
Do aliens live among us?
Yeah, one of them's a doctor.
Dear boy, I hope you are well. That you get this soon in your travels.
So he can read. What's gonna be in this crate? Oh, that's nice.
Let's hope we get some funny hats too.
Sarcophagus? Kind of new age sarcophagus? I was kind of thinking that. Let's see. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Is this the message?
What'd y'all order a dead guy for?
I bet he ain't dead.
All right, folks, and there you have it. That's basically how I edit my videos, phase 1 and phase 2. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that and it was informative to you, or at the very least entertaining. Once again, I've never done a video like this, and I've never seen a video done like this, so hopefully it gets through the YouTube algorithm. If you are watching this on YouTube and it got through and you are not yet subscribed, please really consider subscribing because it helps me out so much. I know every channel says that, but it's so much more true for such a small channel as mine. Also, leave a like and leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of this video. So I will catch you guys in the next reaction video.